time for us to start the day's show. Yes, today is Wednesday. And we are counting down 5 days before Christmas and 11 days before the end of 2023. Yes. Boy, again, we want to thank all viewers and listeners. Yes. And want everybody to play it safe. Drivers, pedestrians, take it easy on the road. Be careful. Yes, well, we want to start today's program by going over to Guyana. Yes, we want to talk to our senior journalist over there, Mr. Adam Harris. Adam is going to keep us abreast of what is happening in our Caribbean neighbor. Adam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. That's how you doing?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing okay.
All right.
Yes. And the weather is fine in Guyana, right?
Yes, we had some rain yesterday, but today was blazing hot. Caribbean weather, man.
Okay.
Caribbean weather.
All right. Yes, that's good to hear. And so what's the latest in Guyana today?
Well, among other things, we had Parliament on Monday.
Yes.
And as is expected, whenever the opposition tables a motion, the Speaker finds a way to prevent the motion from being heard. The opposition called for the setting up of a regional a task force on the Venezuelan issue. And the Speaker did not allow the motion because the opposition is saying, look, we pledge that we will all, regardless of political affiliation, defend the right of Guyana to a Essequibo. Let us have this task force, even that the Speaker didn't allow. It's a stupid thing. The other thing, analysts have looked at the Argyle declaration. That's a declaration that Maduro and Irfan Ali signed in St. Vincent. And they are finding some flaws. For example, Guyana has long been saying we do not have a territorial dispute. We have a controversy, not a dispute, because as far as we're concerned, the matter was settled way back in 1899.
Yes.
Now, in the document that they signed, the Camp Argyle Declaration, they go on to talk about the dispute.
Yes.
So we wasted, as one analyst said, 50 years of diplomatic work to go back to that. And we were saying also that the matter is before the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. Now, we have reached a stage, and I don't know how Ralph Gonsalves managed to pull the wool over Irfan Ali's eyes, to talk about bilaterals on the matter, although Ali said he wasn't talking about it. So they are to meet in Brazil again in 3 months. Irfan Ali left Guyana and said, we are not discussing the border issue. Yet this declaration refers to the border issue. How did it get there if we were not discussing it? Those are things that people are now finding out and cannot understand. It's worrying.
No, listen, I want to understand what you are saying. You are saying that the border issue was settled in 1899.
Right.
So that matter ought not to be on the table now.
Correct.
So therefore, what the two leaders were talking about is the border issue that Venezuela is trying to reverse or trying to alter that. Isn't that what
that is what was about? That's correct. You see, remember on December 3rd, Venezuela had a referendum.
Yes.
And some people voted, and Maduro said that the people gave him the power to annex Essequibo, take it. So he appointed a governor for Essequibo. In his budget, after that, he voted funds for the development of Essequibo, which means that he was already taking it. He had troops on the border to invade. So when the talks came up, the idea of a talk, people were saying, look, the tension need to be eased because, of course, Guyanese were afraid. We can't fight Venezuela. We don't have the tools. We can try, but we don't have planes or anything. So the meeting was to ease the tension. President Irfanali said, look, I am going to talk about easing the tension. There are other things we can talk about, like climate change, like assistance to develop the petroleum industry, things like that. We do not know exactly what went on inside the meeting. We have not got a full report on that. But we know that the declaration is talking about this border issue. We know that it's talking about aggression and an end to all aggression. The aggression deals with the border. So I don't know. I can understand us saying, Venezuela coming up and saying, look, we will not be aggressive to each other, but Guyana was never aggressive. So that is there. So using that kind of language, they managed to sneak into the declaration issues relating to the border that Ali said he wasn't going to discuss. And that isn't go on.
Yes, but Adam, as I understand it, the reason why the meeting was called is to address issues with the border raised not by Guyana, by Venezuela.
It was to reduce the tension.
So the meeting essentially was to discuss the border and for Guyana to reassert itself that, listen, this dispute that you are putting on the table, that matter has been settled from 1899. Right? So therefore,
yes,
the meeting wasn't to discuss climate change or investments. It is to discuss the border, the dispute with the border.
Not really. It was to discuss reducing the tension.
Yeah.
It was to say to Venezuela, look, you must lower the tension. You cannot threaten. Move your troops and all of that. That is what it was supposed to do. Not to discuss where the boundary lies, but to ease the tension. All right? Venezuela also talked about this governor for Essequibo, and I think the last time we spoke, I mentioned that, and Dr. Corton said yes. Maduro has not reversed those decisions. They are still there. They are still there. He also managed to get into the declaration that he will not recognize a decision by the International Court of Justice. that should not have been discussed at all, because Guyana is saying, hey, we are relying on the International Court of Justice. The fact that Maduro was able to get in the declaration that Venezuela will not discuss. Now, any advisor to Irfan Ali, as Attorney General there, would have said, but what is this doing here? This doesn't belong here. Whether you respect the ICJ or not is not topic for discussion here. You can discuss that anywhere else, not at this meeting. But they allowed it to get in, perhaps because they really wanted Venezuela